duty and the responsibility to commission a further probe to establish reasonably well the extent to which that sort of damage has occurred. Thereafter, of course, it will be in a stronger position to make recommendations to the executive to address those problems. But the evidence, as indicated by Honorable Jama, is very serious. And I do not think we will be doing justice to our mandate or our remit by just brushing it aside and moving on. We really need to look into that, and I would suggest or recommend to this body that maybe we defer adoption of the accounts subject to further investigation, which will, the time of which probably will be determined by this body.
It's complicated, and I do not think that this committee could be able to arrive at a very, very objective decision unless we follow what Honorable Juf had recommended, namely to set up a task force to investigate as to what has happened and to bring the report back to this committee, all right, so that we can take a very, very, very objective decision on this thing here. I think you will be doing something else. You cannot, in fact, take a decision on this thing here, because for me, it's all crazy. I mean, it's all complicated, you know, and we need to clarify these things here before we can show our people that we have taken a responsible decision.
Deputies therefore moved swiftly to set up a task force comprising lawmakers, net executive members, and headed by the Office of the Auditor General, who have been mandated to recover debts from defaulters. This radical step, as it may seem, deputies believe, is one of many ways to save the National Enterprise Development Initiative from bankruptcy. Mamadou Diallo, GRTS.
And still on PAC news, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority and the Gambia International Airlines were the latest to have their dossiers of activity reports and audited financial statements examined by the joint session of the Public Accounts and the Public Enterprises Committee of the National Assembly. Buba SMCC was at the Assembly and he now reports.
Present its annual activity report and audited financial report before the PAC committees of the National Assembly was Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, otherwise called GCAA, with 94% compliant according to GPPA variables, putting them second to Gilmer, who leads with 99%. The Director General at Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, Abdullah Ibrahim Jame, gave a synopsis of the authority's activities, achievements, challenges, proceedings and policies over the period under review.
Well, the background is Gambia Civil Aviation Authority was incorporated to give effect to the Chicago Convention. Chicago Convention is the convention that actually created the regulatory framework for civil aviation activities the world over.
Current assets has increased from 93,071,000 to 111,353,000. Our equity remains the same as government being the 100% shareholders. Our loans have increased from 745,693,000 to 853,288. This is due to the revaluation of our foreign loans. Our current liabilities are reduced from 678,075,000 to 642,202,000.
Deputies quizzed the management of Gambia Civil Aviation Authority on issues such as the absence of staff payroll and a host of others.
Still under staff loan interest. Now, if you look at 2011, you have 462. Now, in 2012, it's nil. How is that possible? No interest in 2012, when staff loan increased from 10 million to 15.1.
Considering the competitive nature of air transport industry and in congruence with its goal to make Banjul International Airport a major hub in the sub-region, the authority intensified efforts to lure more operators to Banjul.
Genuine business partners don't shy away from documenting agreements that are reached. And a financial contract is simply documenting what you have arrived at with them, so that in the unlikely event that there is a dispute, both parties have something to rest upon. But without the financial contract in place, it's, as Clinton said, he says, she says. That's the kind of story you're going to end up with, and it leads nowhere.
Next to present their annual activity report and audited financial report before the PAC committees of the National Assembly was Gambia International Airlines, with 77% compliant.
Profit for the financial year 2012, 16,323,000 compared to 12,957,000, showing 26% increase in 2012. Going to the balance sheet, the non-current assets stood at 60,646,000 compared to 41,733,000 in 2011. Current assets amounts to 101,981,000 compared to 98,657,000 in 2011. Total assets is 162,627,000 compared to 140,390,000 in 2011. Equity and liabilities, capital and reserves stood at total negative equity of 25,084,000.
Decentralization of Hajj with GIA has also witnessed significant improvements on services provided to pilgrims. Good aircraft arrangement has improved. Hajj flight schedules reliability with severe delays becoming a thing of the past. Notwithstanding, the management continues to face challenges in Mina accommodation and catering of pilgrims during the entire period of Hajj, as well as the huge debts the institution accrued for years.
The GIA, we want to thank you very much for the courage you had in working on the constraints that had not been, the circumstances were not easy at all, but you saw yourself as Gambians, and as Gambians you must work under whatever type of circumstance you see yourself.
Buba SMCC, GRCS.
The recently freed former Ukrainian Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko is galvanizing the whole country to move on despite the challenges. But when will the adamant protesters in Kiev disperse and return home? Active and ready to reclaim the political limelight once more, the Ivorian Popular Front, founded by former President Laurent Gbagbo, is making noise again. Find out why when we return after this short break.
Gambia's fastest and cheapest 4G fixed wireless internet. With QCell's 4G, you can access the internet at unbeatable speeds on your laptop or desktop computer. You can also use your mobile or tablet to browse the internet via Wi-Fi. QCell's 4G internet can keep you connected either in your home or in your office. For a limited time, get 50% off regular equipment and 100% off corporate equipment, as well as free installation and free QCell credit. For more information, call 333-3253 or 333-3104. QCell 4G Internet. Fast, affordable and reliable. QCell. Sunibus. The Gambia's quality network.
Welcome back. It used to be a big force in Ivorian party politics. However, the fall of former President Laurent Gbagbo had an adverse effect on the party's active participation in mainstream politics. The FPI was in total disarray. Now there is a new dawn, as we hear in this report. The Ivorian Popular Front has already announced that it would challenge President Alassane Ouattara in next year's polls.
Stadium in Treichville, some 2,500 people were singing the same song, Free Laurent Gbagbo. For 2 days, the Ivorian Popular Front Party, or FPI, held its convention in the shadow of its former president. The countdown is now for the presidential election of 2015. After boycotting parliamentary, regional and municipal elections, the party is now ready.
We have come to show that we are ready to be a strong party again, to show our strength. And we have very precise political goals.
The tone is being set. 3 years after the crisis in Côte d'Ivoire, the Ivorian